An opportunity to hear how the village community is doing from the village's elected officials. This is the goal of the Pecatonica Informed Citizens Coalition's potluck this afternoon at Sumner Park. Attendees learn about the local impact of small niche farming, and a local grocery store owner was there to give some perspective on price increases at the local market. People could also meet with some of the candidates running to represent District 16 in the U.S. House of Representatives and even register to vote. Village President Colin Hardy also handed out the Pecatonica Citizen of the Year Award to local grocery store owner Henry Patel.
We're a bipartisan group, and we find that we have people from both sides and all walks of life, really, and we're trying not to focus too much on Democrat versus Republican. We're trying to focus on local Pecatonica and what's good for us.